Before we went to commercial break, we were discussing healthcare workers, many who did not want to pursue getting a COVID vaccine or shot, whatever. They were laid off or maybe fired. Did workers who refused, including like say airline pilots, for example, that's a federally regulated industry, they were laid off. Were they laid off actually? Were they fired? Did they qualify for EI?
The federal government adopted the position that anybody who exercised their charter right to bodily autonomy by refusing this particular vaccine, which, by the way, there's no long-term safety data on this vaccine that was available then. Even now, it's going to be a long time before we really understand the impact. The federal government's taken the position that that is misconduct to refuse to get injected and has denied EI benefits. The Justice Centre did secure a victory in one case. There's a Mr. Conlon who is a delivery driver in Ontario, and we got a favorable ruling there from an EI tribunal. And we've also taken this matter before the federal court. And so we're challenging the federal government on this very draconian, human rights violating, Nuremberg Code violating policy of essentially forcing people into a particular medical treatment without their consent.
Yeah, no, it's I did not like the mandates at all. I mean, if people want to get the shot, that's up to them. But now, hindsight's always 20/20, and now we see there's several countries in the world who are now saying, put the brakes on this. There are concerns. We have concerns. So in light that there's now some global data emerging, or there's some now global precedent in various countries where they're saying, no, don't take it any longer. Do you think there's a case in which, there might be back unemployment pay for some of these workers who maybe got the short end of the stick here?
If we're successful in court, then presumably, yes, there would be back pay, because the court would say that it was an error on the part of the federal government to deny EI benefits, so people could get paid out retroactively. And I think there's a lot of evidence now. I mean, when the vaccine passports were imposed in September of 2021, it was stated falsely that this vaccine would stop the spread. Well, that obviously proved to be completely false, because COVID, different variants just came and went, and it spread everywhere anyways. And later on, the companies admitted that no, there was no testing to see if it would stop transmission. In terms of effectiveness, people got sick anyway, they died anyways. And in terms of safety, there's a lot of evidence, some of it anecdotal, others formally reported about vaccine harms. So if the court takes all of that into account, which I hope it will, then yeah, if we win in court, there would be retroactive EI pay. So
do you think, again, in hindsight, and yes, it is probably hinging upon you being victorious in court, but now that many various governments, provincially and the federal government, have gone through these vaccine mandates, do you think they'll be less eager to institute a mandate again? Is this something that we could still see in the future? I mean, again, I don't think all the mandates have been lifted for healthcare workers, so that still exists.
It's a wait and see. I think that some people, they look at the last 3 years of lockdowns and travel restrictions and mask mandates, vaccine passports, et cetera, as a test, and a test of our commitment to our freedoms, a test of our willingness to think independently and to look at facts and not blindly accept whatever some government official, elected or unelected, is saying. I think Canadians flunked the test. Now, I also think, though, if the government tries to come up with another really scary virus, a lot of people are going to say, no, COVID. The big lie was that COVID would be as bad as the Spanish flu of 1918, which killed tens of millions of people, including many people in their 20s and 30s and 40s. And so it really was catastrophic in 1918. And COVID has been a tiny fraction of the Spanish flu of 1918. So hopefully we'll do better the next time we get a test on our willingness to stand up for our rights and freedoms.
And I know you have a case on the Ontario Vax Pass before the courts as well. We only have about 20 seconds here.
Yeah, some of the results in court to date have been disappointing. However, our court actions have also shed the light of truth. In our Brian Peckford court action, we had government officials admitting under oath in the middle of the court action that there was no medical or scientific basis for the travel restrictions. That is an admission that we would never have had apart from the litigation efforts,
Okay,
win or lose.
I'm going to pause you there. We're going to cut to commercial. We'll be right back. Thank you.